Hi, this is Jessica with cutesy Since my new embroidery book is going to be coming out at the end of January, I wanted to teach you a few new stitches from the book. I'll tell you more about the book at the end of the video, but for now, today we're going to be learning the Palestrina stitch. I'm going to bring my needle up on one side of the line, and then we're going to go forward a stitch length. How far you go will depend on what look you want for your stitches, and I'll show you different ones at the end of the video. But you'll notice that when I brought my needle down, I actually brought it down above the line. So I'm not on this line here, I'm slightly above it. And then we'll bring our needle up slightly below the line. So it's directly below this stitch, then here's the line, and I'm bringing it up below that. Then I will take my needle from the right to the left, coming down from the top, and slide it underneath that stitch and pull it over to the left. Then you'll kind of have these two legs like a Y that these two stitches have created. I'm going to take my needle coming from the left over to the right, coming from above again, and we're going to go under the top leg of that Y, and I'm going through the middle of the Y there. Bring my needle through, and I actually want it to go through the loop that my thread has created there. So you can see my needle came up above and going through the loop, and I'm pulling it over to the right. So again, going forward a stitch above the line, bring your needle up just below the line, take your needle from right to left, top to bottom, going underneath that stitch there, pull it over to the left. Then we will take our needle at the top of that Y there, put it underneath that leg, through the middle of the sideways Y that it's created, top to bottom, left to right, and we're making sure we're going through the loop that our thread created here. And that's our second stitch. So one more time. Down above the line, up below the line, from right to left, bring our needle underneath, sliding from top to bottom, pull it over to the left. From left to right, we are bringing our needle from the top again, underneath that top stitch there, and through the loop that our thread created. And then you just continue that along the line until you have finished. But before I do that, I just want to show you what it looks like if you change up the length of your stitches. So say I want all my knots to just be really close together, I can just make a very short beginning stitch, do all the same process again, and then you can see how close those knots get to each other. And then if I wanted the opposite and I want a really long line, you can see the lines between the stitches, I can just take a longer stitch, do the same exact thing, and then I have more of a line in between the knots. So that just gives you an idea of how you can control that to change up the look of your Palestrina stitch. However you do it, just try to keep them as consistent as possible. You can shorten them a little bit around curves, but for the most part, keep them consistent. And then when you're done, you just bring your needle down right after the end of that last knot there. And then you can secure it in the back. Here is the pattern from my book that teaches the Palestrina stitch. So these are all different stitches on the butterfly wings, and this kind of red rust colored one in the middle is the Palestrina stitch. So you can see how that makes just this pretty decorative line that adds a little bit of a different texture to your projects. My book, 30-Day Challenge Embroidery, comes out at the end of January 2024, and it features 30 different stitches with 30 stitch diagrams to teach you how to stitch each one of those different stitches, and it has 30 projects that feature each of the different stitches, and they build upon each other so that you really have a good foundation and a fun way to learn each of the embroidery stitches and a project to do each of them on. If you want to get the book as soon as possible, they are taking pre-orders on Amazon already, so I will leave a link to that in the description below.